Imagine a year where Sandro likes anime?
What? I don't believe you. What year is that, Zach?
The year is 2001.
And welcome to Oldie But a Goodie, the show where we review movies from 2001 in the order they came out in, and this week the show may as well be called Weeby But a Weeb, because we're talking about anime.
Wow, finally! I've turned it into the podcast I've always wanted, where we just review anime. Yeah!
Oh, like the Cowboy Bebop the movie.
Or Avatar, The Last Airbender, both great animes.
Oh, that is a great American, Japanese anime, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yes, with the blue people. I love it.
With the blue people, by James Cameron.
Yeah. My favorite anime. Can't wait till it gets remastered.
My name is Sandro, your name is Zach, and I love Cowboy Bebop the anime, and this is your first time ever having anything to do with this property, so I'm going to throw to you, even though you're the only person to throw to, because it's only us in the episode. What did you think of Cowboy Bebop the movie?
Well, Sandro.
I'm channeling the character to Ed and just being really annoying.
Yeah. Well, as you said, I haven't seen any Cowboy Bebop. It's been on my list of to-dos. I have a lot of list of to-dos. Like, I even have animes I've started, which I thought had been really good, and then just stopped watching it at some point.
I feel like all anime fans do that.
Yeah.
There's too many episodes and too many animes.
I've watched, 100 and, something amount of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god. Is that the abridged version or the unabridged version?
Oh no, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball.
Oh, oh wow, okay.
The original. Yeah, because I got to start at the original, right?
Do you?
And I'm like, I'm never going to make it anywhere. So that's on my list. I haven't gotten back to My Hero Academia, because I watched that, all of it. Because I thought it was really good. And then I ran out of episodes to watch. And this was, years ago.
Yeah.
And now they've come out with seasons that I just haven't gone back to it. I've watched One Punch Man, 3 times.
I mean, One Punch Man is, even I will admit that is a great anime.
That's a great anime, and it's so short.
Yeah.
Because they haven't put out that many episodes, then I'm like, I could go and watch something new and exciting that, I need to do. Or I could go to the comfort junk food, and just eat that. But, speaking of going out to watch new things, I watched this.
You watched this?
And I thought this was a great movie.
Did you know what was going on, considering this is set right at the end of the first season?
I think I had a pretty good idea.
Okay.
I've seen, Firefly and other things like that. You've got your ragtag group of mercenary boys going around doing jobs, It's not too hard, at least for me as a sci-fi buff, to understand what's going on. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly suggest seeing it before we talk about it.
Yeah, because we will spoil the whole movie.
If you have any interest in anime, in movies, in anime movies, in Cowboy Bebop, in boys, in cows...
What?
In bebops.
In bebops. In jazz music.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't really in the movie, but yeah.
No, but there was some good music. I loved the intro song.
Oh, yeah. Well, the intro song to the anime is fantastic as well, so I'm glad that they also had an equally good intro song for this.
Yeah, because it has this, noir sort of, pictures of, just society, of, random people.
Yeah.
Which is another point. I love the detail in this movie. It's very detailed. They've got lots of, you know how in old Disney films, it has that same style of, the background is painted?
Yes.
And then the actual, animated figures are, your main characters and stuff. In this one, there was a lot of extra animation just going around for details.
They had a large budget on this, because I think the original anime was so successful that they just had the biggest budget maybe out of all the animes that are based off anime shows, or the films that are like based off shows.
Oh, really? Wow.
And yeah, they did a good job. I've got some interesting facts about how they made it as well, and like the sort of style that they went for, because the style of this is so different to, and that's probably why I like Cowboy Bebop more than most animes, is because one, they show and don't tell a lot of the time.
Yes.
They don't explain things. They just show you a scene and they don't talk during it, which I love.
Yeah.
Which annoys me about most animes.
It's so refreshing to watch a good movie after so long.
It's been since like Fast and Furious that we've done something that I would call good.
Yeah. Where specifically the show don't tell.
Yeah.
Because like the whole intro opening, they don't tell you anything.
Nah.
They don't tell you diddly squat. And it's great.
Yeah.
Because you could just figure it out. And it's so refreshing.
It's good.
To watch good cinema for once in my life.
Yeah, like actual storytelling. It's really good.
I will mention some points. All the characters on the ship. So you got the girl.
Yep.
The corgi.
Yep.
The older lady.
Older lady?
Oh, like the sexy lady character.
Oh, Faye.
Yeah. Older than the child girl.
Oh, yeah, one thing we should mention as well is we watch different versions, slightly different versions. You watch the original Japanese. I watched the dub because before I started watching the anime, I did what I usually do, and I like Googled Cowboy Bebop original versus dub. And it's the only time when everyone says the dub is better.
Oh, really?
So I watched the dub. I just got used to that cast. I've gone back and I've seen some episodes with subs, and they're good. But I actually prefer some of the voices in the English cast over the original.
Oh, that's really interesting. Cause yeah, I watched the sub because I like sub.
You're a purist.
Yeah, I've watched dubbed. I think I watched My Hero Academia. That was English. Mm-hmm. It depends what I start with, because that's the one I get used to, and I associate the characters with those voices, you know? So if I can't kind of swap.
That could be why I didn't connect to any characters in Demon Slayer properly, because I literally watched episode 1 original, episode 2 dub, episode 3 original. Just because, like, it depends on how sleepy I was. So, like, when I saw the first episode, I was ready to commit, so I was like, I'll read subtitles. And then when I got to the second episode, I was like, this is trash, but I'm still enjoying it, so I'm going to watch it with English so I could kind of fall asleep while watching it.
Yeah, you gotta... Well, like...
I don't have to focus.
You could kind of do... What I've learned to do is just skim reading. You just kind of absorb what the words say, and then you get the gist of what they're saying, you know?
Well, one thing I do, and I did it with this movie, is I watched the movie in English, but had the original Japanese translation as the subtitles.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I thought that was their voices. I liked Ed's voice. Ed's voice was cool. I don't know how she would be in English. In English, I feel like she would have been more annoying. Yeah, there you go. I was exactly right. I'm thinking... Because she had this kind of cutesy Japanese voice, I'm like, okay, that's bearable. In English, what would they do? Oh, they'd make it an annoying child.
Yeah, no, it is. It's an annoying child voice in the... A bit, like, I kind of like Ed's voice. Also, they completely change a lot of Ed's dialogue, but also because Ed's dialogue's not important, it doesn't really matter. But for English, they change a lot of what Ed says.
Oh, really? That's very interesting.
One thing I was going to do that I didn't was watch the live-action remake, or at least a couple episodes of the live-action version.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Live-action, the show, not a live-action of this movie.
Well, they were going to make Cowboy Bebop, the live-action version, Season 2 was going to be based off this movie. Because Season 1's kind of the story arc of the first anime.
Yeah, this could be, like, dragged out into a whole, like, Finding the Terrorist sort of thing.
One day I'll watch the live action. I've heard it's good, and probably shouldn't have been cancelled. It's a shame that anime fans got so annoyed at it.
Yeah, well, why does everything have to be live action, though, Sandro?
Because art is dead, and...
I can't argue with that one. No, he's got me there.
But before we get into some more details about Cowboy Bebop, the movie, also known as Knockin' on Heaven's Door, that's the original Japanese name for it, but it's the name of a Bob Dylan song, so they changed it for the American release, or else the Americans might have gotten confused and thought this was a Bob Dylan movie.
That would have been funny, though.
That would have been pretty
Like,
funny.
this had nothing to do with Bob Dylan. What the heck is this anime bullshit?
But yeah, before we get into some details, I got a couple quick things to plug if you don't mind. And by plug, I mean you were there when it happened.
Oh, no.
Just before our last episode came out, I was live on Twitch and got affiliate, so that's fun.
Oh, my God, I was there.
You were there!
It's true. I spammed LOL in chat. It was great.
It was crazy. So yeah, that's a thing. I'm streaming now. I'm not going to take it as seriously as all of my other projects, but if you want to come hang out, I stream sometimes on Twitch.
I want to start streaming.
Yes, you should.
But I first have to get my own place. And then my idea is after work, I'll do like, a couple hours of streaming maybe. We'll see how it goes.
But that's one thing. I'm on Twitch a bit more, and you'll be on Twitch soon as well. But also, I've started another podcast. Oh no, I've got a problem.
What? Sandro, this is why we brought you here today. You're addicted to podcasts.
My friend Reese Parton and our friend Reese Parton and I have been on the show many times. Mm-hmm. We've been podcasting with him for 10 years now. It's crazy to think about. But we've started a new show. It's called Aussie Nerds Talk Stuff. Ooh. The first episode is out right now, reviewing the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. We're going to do more stuff in the future. You'll be on at some point, probably to talk Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes.
When that's all out. But yeah, it's called Aussie Nerds Talk Stuff, Ants for short.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is this different from Nerd Out?
It's not, it's the same show.
Whoa! Hell yeah, can't wait. I love Nerd Out.
Yeah, we had the show during COVID, which was a spin-off of the podcast I do with Rob and Jen, which is also turning into something else at some point down the track.
Nice.
But yeah, Reese and I were like, it's weird to keep making this a spin-off when it should just be its own thing at this point because we're out of lockdown, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Wow, I'm very excited for that. It's funny you mention Rob Lloyd.
Yes.
I had a little shout out with him. I might chuck it at the end, at the start. Where do you want this shout outs?
What do you? Well, I don't even know what this is about, so you may as well put it now.
Oh, it was just his podcast. The one he mentioned when he was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, the Star Trek one. I listened to an episode of that, having no prep. I didn't watch any Star Trek. I didn't do anything. And they talked about these episodes that I hadn't seen.
I was going to say, they reviewed the end of Strange New Worlds, the new Star Trek show that you haven't watched.
Yes, correct. They reviewed the end of it, so they didn't even review the whole season, so I had no context for anything. But it was still enjoyable to listen to, because they go back and talk about old Star Trek, which I have in fact watched. And they talked about the death of characters and how they have the effect on the medium and on themselves as people.
Okay.
Which was very exciting. I quite enjoyed that.
What's that called? Subspace Radio, I think is what it's called?
Yes, that's right.
Links to everything in the episode description if you want to check out all the stuffs and things. But Zach, you picked Cowboy Bebop the movie, and you picked it out of a bunch of garbage, if you would pardon my French, options.
Did I strike gold with this one? It was I thought all the options this week were going to be shit. So it was I swing, I'll just pick this one randomly. And this one was amazing.
Yeah.
So I lucked out super hardcore on this one. Oh, yeah. So there was a point I was going to make about 20 minutes ago, which was, there was a couple of questions. So those 4 characters on the ship, they're the main characters of the series, right?
5 including the dog, but the 4 humans, yeah.
Yeah, 5 including the dog, of course. I figured that out, right? Mm-hmm. Which unfortunately ruined a bit of the tension for the movie.
You knew who would survive and who wouldn't? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, there's no way any of these characters die in an anime movie, or at least if they die, it's not going to be the tension wasn't there as much.
Yeah.
And they kind of tried to do a fake-out death halfway through.
They did, yes, they did.
Yeah, and I was like, we're halfway through the movie, and that's the main character of the main show. I'm sure he's dead, So there was a little bit there, but other than that, I think I didn't have any problems with the entire rest of the movie.
That's pretty good, Yeah,
Yeah.
The thing with that main core as well is I find with a lot of anime movies, they do try and make it more for the general audience. So they remove some of the characteristics of some of the characters and stuff, and that's kind of the case here. Like, in the anime,
Yeah.
Spike is way more sad about his past, and the same with Faye. She's got amnesia. She's got no idea where she came from, so she's also quite sad for all of it. And they kind of got rid of that for the movie, but it also works because it's just another mission that they go on, you know? So
yeah, this definitely has a sort of upbeat tone-ish for a movie about a depressed psychopathic terrorist bombing places. It had a very upbeat tone with great jokes. The jokes were great.
oh yeah.
It was so entertaining to watch. I loved it. I loved the characters in the background, and I loved them coming back.
There was some important stuff that happened. But yeah, the other... If we can get back to a point I made 6 minutes ago...
5 hours ago, we started a point, and then went on a tangent, and we made the podcast.
This is going to be a long episode, isn't it?
Possibly. Who knows? It depends how many of these wild turkeys I can drink down.
Yep. We all know what Zach's like on the wild turkey. He turns into a rooster.
What?
I don't know. You're loud and you wake people up.
Wow.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Feels kind of mean now that I've said it.
No, I think that's like a positive thing, you know? You put the podcast in the morning to wake you up, you know?
Yeah, true. All right, your other options that came out this week in 2001 are Megiddo, the Omega Code 2 religious Christian sci-fi about the end of the world. It's a sequel. I can't see that being good.
Would have been a great pick just to, like, the random bullshit, but it's also a sequel and I don't want to watch the first one.
The Musketeer, retelling of the Three Musketeers that features both samurai and pirate style of fighting, which is a cool...
Oh, yeah. That one I did think would actually be pretty good.
Could be fun.
I think that movie was actually sounded pretty good. And it's unfortunate that we didn't do it.
I could add it to Patreon if you want.
Yeah, but also I've seen The Three Musketeers. I've read The Three Musketeers. I know of The Three Musketeers.
You also had rock star Mark Wahlberg is the member of a tribute band who then becomes the lead singer of the band they're giving tribute to.
Whoa, crazy. I've seen Mark Wahlberg. But also, we've also seen other action heroes that went on to try and do a singing movie.
Oh, don't remind me of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Was that... it was Rhinestone. I want to say that was before episode 100, so that was a while back.
That was a while ago, and not a while enough, I feel.
Soul Survivors is a movie about a woman, her boyfriend dies in a car accident, and then she starts seeing strange visions of him. Sounds boring. Two can play that game. Rom-com about a couple playing tricks on each other. But Cowboy Bebop the movie was released September 1st in 2001. We are really getting close to the big event that happened in 2001. There was certain stuff in this movie that made me go, oh yeah, that's coming up, isn't it? There's like a shot of the Twin Towers at one point, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, the story, and also considering when it was released, it just feels a bit eerie.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate timing, almost. It could have been worse, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but that is the Japanese release date. This, of course, came out in America like 2-3 years after that originally, because it takes them a while. In terms of creatives, it's the same team from the anime. It's the same director, it's the same writer, it's the same animation team, it's the same composer. Yeah, all the same people.
That is interesting, because most of the time it's not.
Yes, this is true.
And I think that really helped this film, because I'm saying it felt like Cowboy Bebop, but I don't know how Cowboy Bebop feels.
No, because I haven't let you watch it until we record the episode.
That is true. Immediately after watching this film, I was like, man, I really want to watch Cowboy Bebop now. And you're like, no, you need to record the podcast, Zach. Do as I say. I'm Sandro.
Content first. How dare you?
Content first. I need the money from the content, Zach.
What?
And then we can split it and you can spend it on my stream and I can earn more money. Yes, I'm Sandro.
Wow.
No enjoyment for you, Zach. You cannot enjoy this anime till we have recorded our podcast. That's the exact thing you said.
That's exactly what I said.
That's verbatim the speech you gave to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty evil.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about monetary gains from the podcast, you turn into some sort of supervillain. It's very strange.
So when I'm talking about how we're only doing this podcast for the money and the listeners do not matter, you are merely products to us. That's when I start to get a bit angry.
Yeah, you sound like the pharmacist guy, the pharmacist guy from this film.
I feel like I should say that that's all a joke and we're doing this for fun, but I would hope that people know that.
Wow, what a cowardly comedic way out, you know? A true comedian would have doubled down.
That's right. Amazon.
Oof.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
So the idea for this movie came up while they were working on the anime, and after the anime was a massive hit, and everyone was like, make a season 2. And the creators were like, we'll put it in between the anime, and we'll make a movie that's kind of an expansion.
Yes, a bit of extra content that they were all starved for, they were all vibing for. And boy, did it work.
Yeah, and it's impossible to make a second season of Cowboy Bebop. It's such a self-contained anime, you know? It's one of those ones. So yeah, I'm glad that they went down this route. Obviously, they had a massive budget for this, which means animation quality, a lot bigger, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I can't remember watching something that was from a TV show into a movie that was this good. Can you name something?
I still like the Firefly movie.
Firefly. Oh, yeah, Firefly movie.
I still like that as an ending to that story.
That's funny you bring up Firefly, because it's very similar sort of theming, where you've got a mercenary gang going around on a ship.
No, I can't think of a movie based off a TV show that's good. I mean, maybe like a Charlie Brown film or Winnie the Pooh or something, maybe.
I mean, specifically that we've watched at all.
Oh, that we've done on the podcast?
Yeah.
I don't think we've done many based off TV show.
Oh, that's true.
Thinking about it, unless it's like a cop thing.
Yeah, like the Star Trek movies. I guess they were alright. Yeah. It's like, it's just been really well done, and I'm glad for that, because I quite enjoyed this. How does this, just quickly, compare to the anime?
It's as good. Yeah, it's as good.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a throwaway episode compared to a lot of the anime, but
yeah,
that's fine.
It's funny, because it does feel like just one big, long episode, but also it was 2 hours, and I was surprised when it was done.
Yes, whereas the anime is like 20 minutes an episode, you know?
Yeah, it was so enjoyable the whole time. I had so much fun throughout that I was like, when it was done, I was like, oh, is it over already? Man, that film was short. Looks at time. And that was 2 hours?
Yeah.
What happened? Because normally I'm like, oh, man, this could have been good if it was 20 minutes shorter. I'm so done with this film. Fuck this film. This, I was like, give me half an hour more.
Yeah.
I was loving it. Do more jokes about guys taking long shits, you know?
Yeah. No, please do. I love those jokes.
It was great.
One thing that I love about how they made this as well is they went for a very specific style of... It's not really camera work because it's animated, but like where they placed the point of view, and it was to make everything look like it could be filmed.
Yeah, they made it look like a movie.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Kind of what Dune did with like the scale of the ships and stuff. Everything looked like it was real.
Yeah. Oh, this film felt very real in that sort of... Obviously, it was anime, but it was very down to earth.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's based in, like, a future Earth.
It's set on Mars.
Yeah, you know, like, it felt more down to earth than a lot of films we've done. And it's an anime in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of crazy.
And they added a bunch of like 3D effects as well, like the butterflies I think are technically CGI and stuff like that, but they blended it really well. No, it was quite well made. For the reception, 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes sense. I mean, critics in 2001, like anime is not popular at that point. It's still a very small subculture when it comes to, like, America, right? Which is the majority of critics.
Hey, Sandro, are you saying the critics might be wrong here?
I might have to
Might be
concede.
incorrect.
I might have to actually admit that I don't like the critics this time around, yes.
Yeah, because this is one of the most enjoyable films I've watched this year. I would argue might be better than some of the other films, not Cats and Dogs, obviously, but like some of the other, even better than Spy Kids, which is one of my all-time favorite films.
I think this is better than Spy Kids. I think for me, like, Pulse, that Australian movie that we did at the start of the year, and this are like my three favorites, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, this is up here. I just think, and then I saw the critics score, I'm like, what?
Well, they hadn't seen the anime, probably.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen the anime, and this film was great.
I can't defend the critics. They're silly.
Yeah,
They're silly.
That's right. Stop trying to play devil's advocate. You know they're wrong, Sandro. Like they always are. The critics are always wrong. Bring up the audience score, Sandro. What's the audience
fucking percent, motherfucker.
Woo! That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And those 10%ers, they're probably critics in disguise. 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb as well, which is, pretty good. No idea how much this cost, but it would have been quite a bit because animation. What do you think this made worldwide?
And it did a lot of extra animating, as we mentioned earlier, so it was probably super expensive. I'm thinking, it's 2001, and as you said, it wasn't that popular.
Anime is just breaching the mainstream.
This is when the internet was just starting up, right?
Well, that too, yeah, and anime was popular because of the internet.
Yeah, anime got super popular because of the internet, so I'm thinking this didn't make that much. Ooh, I'm gonna say 300,000. Because it's worldwide.
300,000?
Oh, 3 million. 300 million.
3 million. That is how much it made. $3 million.
I meant to say 300 million.
Not 300, but 3 million.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did it, Zach. But I got to the right answer incorrectly, so I'll take it.
Yeah, not much. But also, this movie is, like, hard to find as well. Like, Cowboy Bebop, the anime, is on Netflix, but this isn't. You can only get this, like, on demand and stuff. There's some weird, I guess, publication sort of things with it.
That's so sad, because this film is so much better than so much stuff we've watched.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But there's two taglines.
Ooh.
Are you living in the real world?
Yeah, you're doing the cowboy voice. I got it.
Yeehaw. Are you living in the real world, partner?
The partner adds a lot, but also doesn't.
Yeah.
Am I living in the real world?
Are you?
Probably.
It doesn't really make sense until you've seen the movie.
Yes.
That line.
Yeah. It doesn't entice me into the movie.
No.
I guess it's sort of anime related, because anime isn't the real world, maybe? Question mark? Nah, I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the main tagline that's on all the posters is, they're here to save the planet, but not for free.
I laughed at your accent more than the tagline. But still, yeah, I like that. I like that a bit more. Because that's their whole point, is they're not your typical heroes.
No partner.
Which is the same thing as sort of Firefly. Characters have flaws. Whoa, crazy.
Showrunners have flaws. Josh Whedon, pile of shit, actually. Firefly, good show.
Ooh, it's getting a little hot in here. Oh my.
A little spicy.
A little spicy indeed. But yeah, no, very good. Thumbs up.
Mysterious invitation, an unknown host, 10 strangers trapped in a remote mountain lodge.
I won't let anything get in the way of my having a good holiday.
1 dead.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Look at her.
9 remain. Finding the killer will be a process of elimination.
Head to the Penny Peep Show podcast to listen to our latest series, A Process of Elimination. Do it now before you get eliminated.
All right, well then we should probably get into the plot of the movie.
Yeah, this is nearly the length of the Othello movie, and we haven't even talked about the movie.
I know. This is a long episode.
You can tell how much we enjoyed this movie. It was great.
And this movie opens with a robbery. A robbery by a criminal who refers to the world as a stew.
Yeah. This is like a throwaway character that never comes back.
No.
That has more character and backstory than the main characters of Othello.
Yep. And we mean the movie that we did last week, not the play Othello.
Not the play.
Just to clear that up if you haven't heard the podcast.
Yeah. Sorry. The main characters of O. Not to get them confused.
No, you're right. Like, this throwaway action sequence, also it's so spaghetti western, it feels like those old Clint Eastwood movies, but it's also set in the future with, like, sci-fi guns. It's great.
Which is, I like those movies. I wish we'd do more cowboys at some point.
The old ones are not new ones like Crossfire Trail, which wasn't very good.
Oof. Nah, let's do the Crazy 8 or whatever the fuck it was called.
Crazy 8?
The something 8.
Magnificent 7 with Chris Pratt?
No, there was one with 8, but anyway.
Oh, the fucking Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, the Adam Sandler one, Sandro.
I forgot about that. I forgot that even existed.
Yeah, you were like, are you talking about the Magnificent 7? What are you on about? I'm like, no, I'm trying to remember the 8 one, but it's so forgettable. I can't, like, I love Terry Crews, but
anyway. Can't remember what that was called.
You see what I was struggling with, Sandro? It's so forgettable it hurts. Yeah, so there's these bad guys in like a corner shop sort of thing.
A 7-Eleven, or Sevlev's, as I like to call it.
Good old Sevlev. The bad guys grabbing a slurp over at Sevlev.
Yeah, grabbing a Slurpee and a meat pie.
Oh, good old meat pie. You know what? I used to eat a lot of the sandwiches.
Oh, I don't mind that. I don't get them anymore. Nowadays, I just get like a sausage roll.
Yeah. I've eaten too much of them though. I can't stand them anymore.
Yeah.
But like, I used to love those. They were my go-to thing.
Did you know they don't have sausage rolls in America?
What?
That's really weird. They don't have sausage rolls in America. Yeah.
How do they go to any sports game?
I don't know. They must eat Doritos.
Ew.
At sports games.
No, that's Gamer Fuel. What are you talking about?
That is Gamer Fuel.
Yeah, maybe an esports game.
I'd love to rock up to like an esports tournament with like Mountain Dew and Doritos and just see what happens.
What? See what happens? What are you expecting to happen? Like everyone to go, whoa!
You're perpetuating the stereotype of gamers.
Whoa! See what happens. What happens is you eat your Doritos and drink your Mountain Dew and people go, haha.
Yeah.
I like Mountain Dew and Doritos. They're fine.
They're okay products. I don't mind them.
You know, it's funny. Mountain Dew is kind of like a stew, wouldn't you say?
You're bringing it full circle.
Much like our world, where if you have a stew, you kind of need some meat in it. Otherwise, it's not a stew.
Yeah,
it's like a soup.
We do live in a stew society.
Yeah. But for the stew, you need the meat, and for the meat, you need the dosh.
Yeah.
So we have the funny monologue where like this robber dude he just has some great lines. He talks about, he's like, does this metaphor where life is a stew, and that's why he's robbing the places to get some meat and other things, because meat is a very rare thing in this future society.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of money. But also, he has this sort of thing he mentions where he's like, oh, I'm not even worried because I know that security logo that's in your shop, and I know for a fact that they won't come because I used to work for them and they fired me.
Yeah, the fucking backstory on this throwaway guy is great. It's like a Spider-Man villain. He used to work for a security company, and now he only robs places that use that security company for security because he knows how to get through the security. It's like, oh my goodness, this is a whole movie.
But here's the thing. All of his backstory is just world building.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually mean anything for this character because we'll never see him again. but it's world building because you know what's happening now. One, you know, meat's rare.
Yes.
Like, because we're in a future society, meat's rare. We know that these defunct corporations existed out there that were private securities for specific places. They're going defunct, though. So we're living in this future society where, you know, capitalism is reaching its peak once again. And
oh, wow.
things collapse and other things. Wow, that sounds like a weird, crazy sci-fi future where ridiculous, I would say, even.
Yeah, no, crazy. I could never see that happening in real life.
Yeah, but this is an anime, so it can get away with this sort of fantasy.
Capitalism forever. That's my tagline.
Yeah, as you say, I need more money for the podcast, Zach.
I don't watch Cowboy Bebop where I need the content.
Yeah, that's what you always say. So as we were talking about earlier, Sandro, I wasn't struggling to grasp a hold of this movie because it does great world building just by doing things. And it doesn't tell you it. It's not like San Francisco, Mars, 8:30 p.m. at 7-Eleven thing, cut to thing. And then it has like a Suicide Squad thing of this bad guy where it's like John Nathaniel, retired security guards.
I mean, it does do a little bit of that when they're doing research on the bad guy on the computer, but it's not...
Oh, yeah.
It's not that bad.
That's true. But that's like halfway through the film, you know?
But yeah, then Spike shows up, Spike Spiegel, the main-ish character of the series, and he beats him up in a great action sequence.
Oh my god, the action sequences in this movie are fantastic. I love the combat with Spike. I want to watch the anime, Sandro. Let me watch the anime, Sandro.
You could watch the anime when we're done, god damn it.
And you know what? I might just do that. But yeah, no, there's some great combat scenes. We have a few throughout the movie, and they're all really great stuff. I love the long kicks and stuff. He's a tall guy.
Yeah, tall, lanky-ish.
Yeah, and he's dodging, he's weaving, he's knocking guns out of their hands, you know?
He's making jokes, too. It's good fun.
Yeah, he's walking in all casual-like with his headphones on. So, you had the other guy. What's the other guy's name?
Jet?
Yeah, the older mentor character.
Yeah, Jet.
Jet busts in, and they beat up all the guys, and then a guy comes out who was taking forever to shit, and Spike is like, Jet! I thought you said there was like 5 guys. We counted them. And it's like, he was in the toilet the whole time, you know? And Spike's like, why does it take you so long to shit?
Yeah.
And then they have like a Mexican standoff with this guy who holds a lady hostage.
Yes.
And then Spike's like, sorry, I don't care about your stupid hostage because I'm not a hero. I'm a bounty hunter.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with Spike is he's impatient, he doesn't plan ahead.
Yeah.
And he might slowly learn to change that during the course of this movie.
Yep, they shoot the bad guy, and then it turns to the camera, and it's like, haha, I'm not a hero. I'm just a bounty hunter.
Now, there is a fan theory that this entire movie is a dream that Spike had. There's this... I saw it online.
He does sleep a lot.
Yeah, like, that's the whole thing. Is like, he sleeps a lot. The movie starts and ends with him waking up from a dream. So people were thinking, like, oh, is this entire movie a dream? Nothing points towards that aside from him looking at the camera.
Yeah!
But it's an anime and it's meant to be cheesy, so it doesn't really matter.
And he does get infected with the nanobots, which make him see dream butterflies.
Yeah.
Which does sound like something that someone would make up in their dream.
I mean, it does. It definitely does.
I don't think that fan theory affects the movie in any way.
It doesn't change anything. It's like the ending of, like, Inception. It doesn't change how you watch it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if it's a dream or... although, Inception, like, that is important for the movie because it's specifically... not like an ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
Like that's done on purpose. Where in this movie, it's just a fan theory.
It's just a thing. And then we're launched into the theme song, a lot chiller.
Oh,
the show's theme song is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I've listened to the Cowboy Bebop theme song.
Good.
A lot.
Good.
Because it's just one of those songs that's in a playlist somewhere that I have. Because it's a great song. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, it's the entire theme song. No, just the entire soundtrack for this entire series is great. I know that the composer returned for the live action show as well and wrote a whole bunch of like new music, which is one thing that I'm really keen to check out.
I think it's because other people, like YouTubers that I've watched, have used the theme song just around. So I've looked up the theme song and then I found it and I just added it. It's a great song.
It's a good one.
Great tracks. This movie, this intro, good song.
Also good. Again, a lot chiller, but I think it's really cool. Sets the scene for what is a more emotional story.
Yeah, this is like an emotional arc. Like it's down to earth.
Down to Mars, more like it.
Yeah, God fucking damn it.
Down to New Earth, if we're in the world of Doctor Who. Something that they've completely forgotten was that they introduced a place called New Earth. Haven't seen it in 15 years.
Wow. Are you saying that the Doctor Who storyline is inconsistent and doesn't remember its previous lore that it's established?
That the continuity changes every single time there's a new Doctor? Yeah, that kind of happens, actually.
Whoa, that's crazy. That's so funny that every time they change the Doctor, almost like they're changing other things outside the show, like the people that run it. Wow, that is crazy, Sandro.
Although for the brand new series starting next year, it's the showrunner from the David Tennant era. He's back.
Interesting.
He's doing more stuff. I'm keen to watch it. He's doing some multiverse things, I think, which is cool.
Yeah, he's in Magic the Gathering.
Oh, I remember you telling me that and me saying, why?
Because it's 2001, Sandro, and everything's to do with crossovers. Don't you remember?
Oh, I forgot we live in 2001.
Yeah, it's currently 2001. That's definitely what's happening.
Yeah. So yeah, Jet throughout this whole movie, which is interesting if you look at where this places in the timeline of the show. It's set I think 3 episodes before the finale. Jet is really annoyed that everyone on the ship is using his ship as like a base and then just going off and doing adventures and leaving him behind.
Oh, yeah. He kind of has this sort of existential bit where he's like, what really bonds us together?
Yeah.
Because we're not family, but we also care about each other. And he's obviously like, he's a dad guy.
He's the dad of the show. He's the chef of the show. He cooks everything, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like instant noodles.
The food, like, one thing I love is anime fans are always on about how great anime food looks, and it's true.
It's true.
The food in anime looks amazing, but I love how the food in Cowboy Bebop is like, it's microwaved instant noodles.
It's those little touches like that which make it so much more down to Mars.
Hey.
Down to Mars than most other shows. It's those little details like, yeah, of course, in the future, normal food's going to be, like, super expensive. Like, having a meal with actual food and other things prepared by a chef, that's going to be, like, super expensive. In the future, they just have packaged garbage.
Yeah, of course.
That's what we nowadays, for the most part, no one's out making like anime gourmet meals where like your best friend makes a bowl of ramen and it's the best bowl of ramen anyone's ever seen in their entire life. No, they're just having like a bowl of instant noodles and they're like, man, I could really go for some meat. Fucking hell. I haven't had real food in 12 years,
Exactly.
It was great. I love that aspect.
No, it's good. It's good. And yeah, Ed and Faye. So Ed is the child. Faye is the main female lead. She's great. She's got amnesia, not important for the movie. They are hunting down a hacker kid.
Yeah, I never learnt that bit about Faye's backstory. Obviously, if I had known... That is interesting because amnesia is a big part of this movie because the terrorist guy has that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that was never brought up. That they didn't. It might be a cutout thing where the terrorist talks with her because they have a whole thing where they're together. But like, it's interesting that was never brought up.
So the kid that they're tracking a hacker kid. They are tracking the hacker kid's car, or the car that they think he's in. Turns out it's someone else. And they're driving a gas tanker, and they use it to blow up a highway.
Yeah, so you've got Ed, the child prodigy, who is a hacker, who has the best hacking animations I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh, they updated those so much from the show. They look so fancy.
Oh, okay.
They look like the kids' TV show Cyber Chase in this, and it made me Google Cyber Chase and go, gross, that show looks disgusting now. Look at that CG.
That show was ugly. It's funny you didn't remember that, but that show, like, the master head, whatever it was, the lady.
Oh, so bad.
Terrifying. But also, the art style of that show was terrifying. But also, that show was great.
It was a scary, fun show for kids. I enjoyed that show.
That was one of my favorite shows as a kid growing up.
We should go back to it and do an episode on every single episode of something. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, you want to watch every single episode, Sandro? You want to do... If you do it first, I'll do it, Sandro.
No, I'll go back and watch every episode of Astro Boy before I do it for Cyber
Ooh, Astro Boy. I don't think I've seen nearly anything from Astro Boy. I have vague memories of watching Astro Boy of things, but, like, I don't think I ever saw, like, a full episode or anything, so that would be interesting.
I think I watched the original, not the black and white one, the one in the 80s. I watched all of that when I was really young.
Really? Wow, yeah, I have not done that. I might have seen, like, the movie or something. I don't know. But, so you've got Hacker Girl Eddie, you've got Faye, who is piloting one of their ships. So is she like a pilot-y lady?
She just kind of goes off and does her own thing, and she's got her own little, yeah.
Well, that's what all the characters do. They kind of just go off and do their own thing.
That's
and
true.
That's the existential point for Dad, who is also a retired cop, which I liked his one retired cop scene. That was very funny.
Yeah. He's got a whole episode about being a retired cop in the anime, and it's one of my favorites. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, it was great, because he goes and talks with his cop's friend, and it's the most cliche thing, where they're in, like, a drive-through, for some reason, in the future, that still exists, and they're watching an old black and white cowboy movie in the future for some reason.
That's a different style of anime, but it's still anime, but it's a different style of animation to the show that we're watching.
Yeah. They've purposely made it different, which is great.
So good.
And then they're like, the force is corrupt since you left, you know. The force has changed, you know. Everything's corrupt. We can't do anything. All our hands are tied. And he's like, sounds like it hasn't changed. That's why I left. You know, it's the most cliche bullshit I've ever heard. Oh, it was great.
It's so good. Well, that's what Cowboy Bebop is. It's like almost making fun of cliches from Western entertainment. So like 80s American movies, Westerns from the 50s. It's making fun of that, but also putting in like an outsider's view on it.
Oh, it's definitely not accidental. They are deliberately doing these things because the humor is so good. Spike has a chess battle with Jet at one point, where Spike falls asleep in the middle of it because Jet takes too long, and then the corgi comes over and makes the move for Jet.
Ein the corgi, smart dog.
Yeah, Ein. He is correct throughout this entire movie. Ein is never wrong.
Ein is actually the smartest character in the whole show.
I agree.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any episode, but I already know he is the smartest character in the show.
He's good.
And, he plays a chess move, and Jet's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Good work. And I was like, yeah, the corgi is a chess master. Hell yeah.
But yeah, Faye witnesses the big explosion on the highway. The gas tanker blows up. It's a terrorist attack. I think it's like 450 people injured, but like 100 people died or something.
Yeah. We see, we get a quick glimpse of the main villain.
Yes.
They take a picture of his, like, tattoo. It's a bit blurry, but they see his tattoo, which leads them later on going through, like, the databases to find where he comes from and who he is.
Exactly. Because it was some sort of, like, biological weapon. It blew up, released some sort of virus in the air. But yeah, straight off the bat, our character's like, well, that was bad. We don't care. We're going to keep doing our own thing until they watch the news and see 300 million Wulongs to capture the terrorist.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, guess we're going on an adventure.
Yeah. And I like that because that makes your characters want to do a thing. It's like, we gotta do this thing because it's right. No one gives a shit. This is everyone's looking out for themselves, but for 300,000, That will buy them some nice stew.
A little bit of stew. Or heaps and heaps and heaps of noodles.
Oh, yeah.
Or eggs. There's one episode where they just eat heaps and heaps of boiled eggs.
I mean, that sounds like a luxury.
There's one episode where they don't have any food, and Ed goes out and finds these mushrooms on a planet, and then they all just get high for the whole episode.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's great. Speaking of drugs,
Oh!
the reason behind these terrorist attacks is that the bad guys have stolen from a corrupt drug company that is secretly working for the military.
Corrupt big pharma that are actually working with the military.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, this is not connected to real life at all.
Yeah,
this
this
is so
is
wild.
so unrealistic. I was at this point, I was like, this is so unrealistic, it might be taking me out of the film.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the film, I stuck with it, and it got more realistic after that.
Yeah.
With dream butterflies.
And we're introduced to a bunch of people because we kind of see the doctors and stuff who are reporting to the pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
One of them has allergies and keeps sneezing, but they're all like, hey, are you sick? And he's like, no, I've just got allergies. It's kind of weird how we're in the future and they haven't come up with a vaccine for allergies yet.
Yeah. It's great.
So yeah, most of the first half of this movie is, just different characters investigating. Spike actually goes to a Middle Eastern sort of area of Mars to investigate.
This was so cool.
And we get this guy who he meets who's got like this grenade cigarette lighter. But yeah, he's there and he's like, he knows something. He knows something, but Spike can't get it out of him. And he's talking about beans. He's talking about beans a lot. And Spike's like, the beans must mean something.
Yeah, he's doing like a bean metaphor the whole time. They go to like a bean stand, and he mentions the sort of bean that you give to your cheating wife.
And it kills her or something, right?
Yeah, because if the wife is cheating, she'll feel guilty, and she'll only have a couple of them. Whereas if she's not cheating, she'll just eat them all up. And if she eats them all up, she'll throw them up.
Yeah.
Because it's too many. But if she's cheating, she'll only eat one or two, and that's enough to kill her.
Yeah.
Which is great logic.
He gets the slip. They go into a vase store, and the guy gives Spike the slip. And then Spike sees a woman in a purple veil who is one of the main characters of the movie, but we don't know her name until the last half hour.
Yep.
But it's Elektra.
Yeah.
She's Elektra. She's cool. I really liked Elektra.
Elektra was very cool. I liked that they gave him a vase. The mysterious vendor dude with the grenade lighter. He's just like the whole movie. He's just mysterious for some reason.
Yeah,
and he just gives him a vase, which of course it turns out inside the vase had a very auspicious item.
Yes, has a clue.
I love these just mysterious strangers in movies.
That is most of Cowboy Bebop. Is you meet weird but fun, mysterious characters for an episode, and they do their thing, and then you're on to the next episode.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool that that's a consistent thing that they also put in this movie, then.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's really good. And it is an anime that is episodic as well. There's like two-parters, but for the most part, each episode is its own story/bounty, which I think is
interesting,
really cool, and better than shows like Demon Slayer that take one arc and do it too much.
Sorry, is that show that you watched the dub and then watched the English and then watched the dub?
I did, but I stuck to the sub for a few episodes in the middle of the season, and then I gave up because it's not a good show. I'm sorry, people who like Demon Slayer. The art is fantastic, but I hate everything else about that show.
I'm gonna watch that and then tell you why you're wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, no, please do. All my friends love it, and I don't know why. I don't love it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't.
Is it perhaps that you watched the sub and then watched the dub and then watched the sub, Sandro?
Maybe we'll have to review it on Ants.
Ooh, what a good idea for plugging, for content for the viewers, listeners.
I'll force myself to watch all of it in either subs or dubs.
Choose one, goddammit, Sandro.
I'll watch both of them at the same time.
No!
Without subtitles. Nothing. I can't hear anything.
Oh, God. I like there's a song in the background
Okay.
I think this is when Spike's going around with the mysterious man.
Oh, yeah.
There's a line from that song which I wrote down, which is, "Could it be that I'm just dumb and horny?"
Well, yes, that's most of this world.
Yeah, which I thought was a great line in a song. Continue on.
We see the bad guys. We see Vincent and the young British hacker. They go to a warehouse, they kill a guard pretty brutally, and they go to a warehouse filled with jack-o'-lanterns.
So Hacker is very stereotypical Hacker. He's like playing old video games and complaining that video games aren't what they used to be, which is so funny. This came out in 2001. They had no idea.
They had no idea how bad video games would get.
I thought I was watching a movie that came out yesterday, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
And then I realized, wait, this came out 20 years ago. That's super funny that they had this thing.
Although, like, the games that he plays are like, the good old days, Pong. And I'm like,
yeah, like he's playing garbage, to be fair. Yeah. But he does do like a Duck Hunt shooter game, which I think looked fun.
Man, I used to have Duck Hunt on my old Windows 98. That was a fun game.
I didn't, and it looks dumb, and I think you're dumb.
You shoot the ducks and they go blah. It's actually kind of full on now that I think about it. The duck killing animations were pretty gross.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's why you became such a gritty, dark capitalist villain, was because of your video game upbringing.
It's true. I do go out every weekend to hunt endangered animals. And
Yes.
it's all because of Duck Hunt.
Like most capitalist billionaires.
In the warehouse, Vincent is talking about how he's going to do the big plan on Halloween, because on Halloween, if he dies, the veil between heaven and hell is thin, and he can pray a lot and still go to heaven, despite having killed so many people.
So Vincent, the bad guy, is an ex-Mars Marine operative that was experimented on by the Mars Corp.
The Big Pharma, the evil Big Pharma.
Big Pharma, yep.
And I'm not just talking about a big man with a truck and some cows.
Yeah, don't call it Big Pharma, because then people will think it's like real life. Because no company in real life as part of capitalism has ever been corrupt and owned by the military.
No, that's never happened. All of Michael Bay's movies aren't funded by the military.
That's correct. And so you have this guy who was experimented on, and they were experimenting with nanobots. A nanobot virus, much like parallels certain world wars where noxious gas was experimented with.
Yes. Oh, well, because it is during the war on Titan, or there's some event that happened in Cowboy Bebop, some war.
Yeah, exactly. Which is so, it's a banned weapon, nanobots.
Yes.
Nanobots is a banned weaponry. But the military was doing naughty experiments with it anyway.
Of course they were.
So they made these nanoviruses, which turn into, they look like specific cells in your body.
Yes.
That are made by your bone marrow and other things. But what happens is they keep duplicating into more of these cells, and they overwhelm your brain and kill you.
Yes. Or, in the case of Vincent, they can drive you a little bit crazy, make you lose yourself.
Yeah, because he has these special anti-nanobots.
Yes.
In his bloodstream that are specifically there to get rid of the other nanobots.
Yes. Yeah, he's got the nanobot, the anti-nanobots, but they're still nanobots. So there's like two sorts of nanobots in his bloodstream that are fighting.
Yeah, there's two nanobots, but because of the experimentation, he loses all his memories. But while he was experimented on, he saw visions of the beyond, ? They're his only real memories.
Yes.
And he is then obsessed with the beyond, the veil.
Yeah, with trying to get there.
Is real life real, or is it the dream that we're dreaming, and real life is when we die and go back to waking up from the dream that we're in?
I love that concept, because it's the same idea as like when you're a baby and you're in the womb.
Yeah.
Your being born is similar to us dying. It's like, oh my goodness, what's happening? I'm so scared.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the two existential films we've done this year are both Japanese. Pulse and Cowboy Bebop.
You mean the two good films that we've done?
I mean, yeah, the two good films are not American.
Wow. That's so weird.
That could also have to do with our choices when it comes to picking movies.
That is true.
I don't want to make a blanket statement that all American movies are good.
Yeah, that might be like a biased sort of something where we specifically chose the good movies when we had watched the bad movies, and they just so happened to be, yeah. There's something there. But also, like, it might be because Japan doesn't think their audience is full of idiots.
Well, that's debatable when you watch stuff like Demon Slayer, but...
Oh, shit, savage, dab.
No, that's just because there's not as much effort put into that as there is something like Cowboy Bebop, I think.
And also, it's trying to apply to the appeal to the American audience, and they're all dumb, son.
Oh, actually, good point. You make a good point. Maybe anime being popularized in quote-unquote the West, it's not a real thing, but quote-unquote the West, did ruin anime.
I think you'd get a lot of people agreeing.
Man, I'm just kind of drawing blanket statements over a whole genre of...
Yeah, let's gatekeep America from watching anime from now on.
Yeah.
You're not allowed anymore.
Australia could watch anime, but not America, because they ruined it.
Yeah, because we're on this side of the world. That's not America.
No.
That doesn't count.
Technically, we're closer to Asia than we are to...
Yeah, and we live on an island-ish. You know, where we take a lot of similarities, you know?
One of our states, New Zealand, is in a similar shape to Japan.
Yeah, one of our states, yeah. That's a good point.
I'm probably going to cut most of this.
Don't. You will if you're a coward, Sandro.
Oh, no, don't call me a coward. I'm anything but I'm a rich capitalist.
Yeah.
And how do you think I got to this position? By being a coward.
By shooting ducks, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, he's going to do this big thing. He's hoping to cross the veil, so he's going to kind of commit massive acts of terrorism.
Yeah.
To get himself killed, basically.
Yeah, he's doing this big thing where he kills everyone. Because I guess he sees that as a sort of gift to people. You know, typical insane terrorist stuff.
Yeah.
But also, there's this Halloween parade. And that's where he plans to strike, is to murder everyone in the Halloween parade, which is this big event sort of thing.
Exactly. We get back to the main story, and Faye finds, she draws a picture of Vincent from memory on Microsoft Paint.
It was such a great joke. It was so funny. I laughed so long at that one. That was so... Because it's funny, because the animators of the film...
Yes.
You know, this beautiful film had to draw this stupid Microsoft Paint. That was so funny.
That was very enjoyable.
That was great. The jokes in this film are so stupid funny.
Yeah.
They're directly in my line of humor, and it's very good.
Oh, exactly the same. It's such a silly show that it's almost made for us. And yeah, all the information that Faye finds leads her to the British hacker who she finds in an arcade. He's playing a game. He's almost gotten the high score. He's almost beaten the game. And we get the quote when she interrupts him. He's like, I just needed 500 more points, then I would have seen Sporky Dorky. Do you know how long I've been trying to reach Sporky Dorky? You shouldn't have incurred the wrath of Sporky Dorky.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love that.
Then he does a real movie hacker move where he just like types random keys on his belt.
Yes.
And somehow that hacks into the system and shuts all the lights off, so he runs off. And loses Faye in the crowd, and she's like, God damn it. But she grabs his hat.
Yes, which is important, because they've got a dog on the team. But before we get to the dog, more important stuff happens.
There's nothing more important than the dog, but continue.
Spike sneaks into the pharmaceutical company under the guise of a cleaner. And in there, he sees a bunch of stuff. He gets a bunch of information, but he gets found out by Elektra. And they have a fight. And I wrote down 2 quotes here. The original Japanese quote and the English version of the line, after they fight, there's a quick break, that they have a talk, and Spike, being the horny guy that he is, he's like, wow, I love tough girls, That's the original Japanese version. In the English version, he says, "Wow, I love the kind of woman who can kick my ass."
And I have to agree. That's what I look for in a woman, really.
But no, this fight scene between Elektra and Spike is great because a lot of the moves happen to the beat of the song as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, boom, boom. It's kind of like you're playing Crypto the Necro Dancer. You gotta fight to the beat, and I love that. It's good.
You brought up the thing you brought up Crypto the Necrodancer, the thing I've been playing for the past couple of weeks.
Hey, what have you?
That's a game I love. So yes, I love rhythm games. I'm a huge fan of rhythm games, so that sort of thing very much appeals to me. I cannot believe you brought up that before I could bring up that.
You should get, I think it's called Bullets Per Minute, which is a shooter, but you got to fire to the beat of like a metal song or something.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That looks alright. I like more like Fury and Crypto the Next Dancer. They're more my sort of movies.
More a deck building, a roguelike sort of game. Yes.
Please stop calling me out. Okay. Deck builders are fun, alright? Deck building roguelikes are fun games, and you play roguelikes as well, just not deck building ones.
Well, Binding of Isaac
has nothing to do with decks and cards.
No, that's just pure luck.
Yeah. Whereas good games like Hades have less luck in them because you make choices.
I got bored of Hades really quickly, though.
Really? Did you play it very long?
I played about 5 hours. I tried all the different variations. I unlocked a bunch of stuff, and then I just kind of got bored.
Because I find Hades much more enjoyable than Binding of Isaac because of the choices, because you always get a good run.
That's true.
Definitely Binding of Isaac has more content. Anyway, speaking of too much content, this is more of an ants conversation than a movie review. We should probably talk about the movie.
Faye gives Ein the hat and goes to track down the scent.
She doesn't give it to him. Ed kind of takes the hat, and then Faye's like, where the fuck is the hat gone? That was an important piece of evidence. And Ed's like, cut to Ed going, wee, wah, woo, following the corgi, tracking the hat.
Yeah.
It's great.
They eventually find the apartment where the scent goes. And Faye heads over, originally tells Ed to wait for her, but Ed goes off to trick or treat, do typical Ed things.
Yeah, and she gets captured by the bat. What happens is Vincent, he murders Tech Guy.
Yeah, murders the hacker with the nanobots.
Yeah, because he, clearly he didn't tell the hacker guy that he was immune to them. And he's done the classic villain thing of once someone's used up their usefulness, he just murders them.
He murders them. And the last words for the hacker guy are, I never saw Sporky Dorky. I should have pressed the reset button.
You're really obsessed with Sporky Dorky, Sandro.
Me? The script writer was obsessed with Sporky Dorky.
And why wouldn't he be, Sandro? I wanted to see Sporky Dorky after the mentions of him.
What do you imagine Sporky Dorky looks like? For me, Sporky Dorky is a Cthulhu, but with a smile.
Oh, are you thinking of like a chibi sort of Cthulhu?
What the fuck is a chibi?
Chibi, like animated cutesy. Like he's been shrunk down and like cutesy.
Yes. I'll say yes.
Like he's got big chubby cheeks, you know, like a cutesy Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Because then I'll agree, because like just a smiling Cthulhu would be horrifying. Sporky Dorky for me is a dog.
Ooh.
A dog, but he's got like spring legs and a tail. A bit like Tigger. You know, he's just bouncing around. That's Sporky Dorky. He's a fun-loving guy. But he does have existential crises. Like, my legs are springs. How will I eat if I cannot stand still? But then he's like, Sporky Doink! I'm Sporky Dorky.
Sporky Dorky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then Faye walks up to the apartment. She gets captured. She also breathes in some of the nanobots. And Victor is like, oh no, she shoots his hand in an action scene.
Yeah, because what happens is he licks the blood off and gives her a snog. That's a very intense scene.
So now she's got his blood in her system, and the nanobots don't seem to be doing anything. She is now immune.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, I haven't seen the anime, but I'm pretty sure this is a main character. Because this is very tense. It's like, oh shit, is this character gonna die?
Yeah.
It was more tense than the main character dying.
Then Spike potentially dying, yeah.
Because I had zero tension that he was going to die. But her, I wasn't sure as much. But still, it's always a problem with anime, like, movies from a TV show.
Yeah.
Where you have the main characters. If it's put in between, you know the main characters can't die.
They can't die.
Just full stop.
But she does get into a lot of trouble, like a lot of danger. She's in a very dangerous situation, so it's still threatening.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, absolutely. I'm just saying this is a problem for these sort of movies in general, not specifically this movie. Like,
Yeah.
the tension can sometimes be ruined if you think about it at all.
Speaking about tension, Vincent leaves her tied up and goes to a train station. Spike and Elektra follow him there, and we get an incredible song that plays during a long action scene on this train that eventually leads to Vincent blowing up the train.
Yeah, so Spike, like, runs and jumps onto a train from, like, a story above. It's very cool, because the coin he flipped at the earlier part of the movie that the lady took was actually a tracking device thing that had a microphone in it, but also the lady knew that, so she purposely took it on her and then cracked it when it wasn't important because she knew that Spike would show up.
Would show up at the train station, but not which particular train she's
and
on.
she wanted that because she wanted to follow. It's like, what is going on? This is crazy. Yeah. And they all show up at this train thing and there's a big shootout. One random civilian gets brutally shot, and I was like, oh my god, that was weirdly brutal for the tone of this movie.
It gets pretty bloody. I mean, it's pretty bloody. Like, what Spike goes through during this sequence is fucked.
Yeah, like, because then this movie goes from literally no blood shown at all. And blood being shown is a big part of movies, if you don't know. Like, PG rating goes from PG to M immediately if blood is
If you
being
show blood.
shown.
If a sword is shown to come out the other side of someone when they are attacked, that can lead the movie to being rated R. Just something small like that, you know?
Like, it turns up to 11 in this scene. It
does.
goes from, you literally see a guy get shot and blood pour out the wound. Like, there's a scene, of course, where we see Spike fighting Vincent, and he beats the crap out of Vincent. And then Vincent's like, oh, was that all anyway? Wow, you suck. Grabs his fucking, like, heart.
Yeah.
Where his heart should be and just twists.
Twist it. Oh, that hurts. And then he gets shot and thrown out of the train just before it explodes.
Yeah.
Infecting all the passengers. Also, Elektra not affected by the nanobots.
Yes, because the nanobots go off, they start killing people, and she's like, I'm not dying. That's weird.
What's going on? Turns out, and we'll go through this now, turns out she was also a part of that test. She also has the nanobot cure inside of her, and she was in love with Vincent before his mind was wiped.
It might be that the nanobots were put in Vincent, and because of reasons, she now has them, if you can connect the dots, because earlier we saw Faye, she got a snog, and then she became invincible to them. Maybe someone else was getting a bit of a snog, if you know what I'm saying.
Maybe Elektra also got a little taste of the V.
Do you want to rephrase that for the recording?
No.
Or yep, no, fair enough.
So Spike wakes up after that action scene, and he's found on the beach by these like Native American type characters, and he says, "Wow, I was almost dead. That's the first time I've ever been scared."
Yeah, I liked the sort of existential bit that the themes that this film goes through, because he's never felt scared of dying before because he never really cared before. But then people made him care. And then he started to fear death. And that's the most fear he's ever felt, ever, because he never feared death before.
Oh my god, he's got feelings now. Yeah, because in the show we learn his backstory, and it's quite tragic, and just kind of means that he's quite careless. He's got nothing to live for. But this is that turning point where he's like, wait a second, I do have friends. Oh my god,
I do have reasons to live. There are good reasons to live. And he's like, maybe I don't want to die. And then he's like, oh shit, I'm dying. Oh fuck. So he's recovering from shock. Meanwhile, the drug company's like, hey, Elektra, you didn't tell us you were immune.
That changes things. Because what they're trying to do is they're not trying to stop Vincent, they're trying to bury the fact that they were ever involved in this, which, not realistic at all. I never heard of that happening.
Companies would never take the priority of their own monetary gains and company over those lives of human beings.
Absolutely not. The CIA would never deny
No, you don't want to finish that line.
So, Spike, Faye, Jet doesn't really, he kind of helps out. Ed, not really.
What do you mean? Ed, the whole film is hacking.
Ed is ultimate hacker.
Yeah, and the hacking's great because it's like an underwater aquarium where programs are flying around, and she sends like little fish to go eat at the programs, which pop into the way she hacks is sending fish after them.
Yep.
Which is incredible visuals. And I was like, this is great.
Ed is great. But Elektra also is the other one who joins in on the team. They're going to stop Vincent, and here's how they're going to stop Vincent.
How are they going to stop it? How are they possibly going to stop these boys? Are you saying they're going to recruit some random characters they met early on in one scene, like some old pilot dudes, which mentioned that they used to be bounty hunters, but then move off, and it's like a 2-second scene that's somehow brought back later on in the movie?
Indeed. Well, first of all, Spike is going to do a really cool dogfight with the army to keep them distracted.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The army go after them. How do they explain the ending of this movie? Because they break the law here a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. The thing with, the law in this world, it doesn't matter. There's, the army, but they're not really in control. Who are in control are, the cartels and stuff.
Ah, okay. Because it was just interesting, because it's Faye walks into the weather control center.
Yeah, while Spike is causing a diversion, she goes to the environmental control.
And, it's I'm a terrorist, and shoots the air. Is there repercussions for her actions?
Nah, they'll just lie low for a couple weeks and it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's weird because then everyone could do that sort of thing. It's just some questions, but...
I mean, it's like the Wild West, right? It's kind of the idea is that it's meant to be the future, but it's also the Wild West.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm just saying, that... It's interesting that there's no consequences for this movie, but also it doesn't matter in the aspect of this movie, so it doesn't matter overall. It's just points that I'd point out that maybe it's that could get them in trouble with, the government or whatever, but they saved the day, so maybe they would be able to solve it all by saying, hey, we saved the day, or hey, this drug company is corrupt. But anyway,
all I'm saying is that I'm glad that all that happens off screen, because that would be...
Because that would be boring as shit, and Zach should stop talking about it.
So she makes it rain. And I'm not just talking about bloody throwing money everywhere, am I right? She makes it rain actual rain.
Yeah, because of the weather control.
Yeah, because it's the weather control. While Jet recruits a bunch of old men in old planes, real old rickety planes.
Yeah, they're these are from museums.
Yeah.
These haven't flown in 100 years, and then we see just a plane crash in the background, and Jet's oh no, I made a mistake.
What's this? But what they're doing is they're flying up above the clouds, it's going to rain, clouds going to rain, and they've got the vaccine, and they're going to sprinkle the vaccine into the clouds so that rains down onto the people as the nanobots explode and infect everyone down on the streets. So they've got it sorted, and the plan works. There's a couple action scenes along the way, but the plan works. The entire time, though, Spike's Vincent keeps talking about how he wants to go to heaven. He keeps talking about, it's going to be close. I'm going to be close to heaven.
Yeah.
I'm going to be walking up the staircase to heaven.
The bridge to heaven.
The bridge to heaven. And then he sees the Eiffel Tower. And he's like, hold on a second. That's real close to the sky, also known as the heavens. Oh, he's probably going to head there.
I'm not sure if this is because there might be some differences between the Japanese thing, but Vincent talks about the party and how he's only going to start it when everyone gets there, implying to him he's like, oh, I need to go be there because he won't start without me.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So he goes to find Vincent, and of course, Elektra follows Spike.
Follows him. They have a big old fight. He gets Spike gets shot a lot.
Yeah, by Vincent. Yeah,
it's all to the backdrop of like fireworks as well, which is really cool.
He like gets infected by the virus when that's gone off, but and Vincent's like, hey, do you see the butterflies? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But then Elektra shows up.
Elektra shows up, and she kills Vincent.
He puts his gun, he's about to shoot her, They have this whole thing, and they shoot, but Vincent doesn't shoot.
Vincent doesn't shoot.
And he's like, you know what, at the last minute there, I remembered.
I remembered that we were in love, and if anyone is going to kill me, it'll be you, because I shouldn't be alive anymore for doing the stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
And he dies. He was like, the whole world was a dream, I just wanted to get out. And Spike's like, there were easier ways to do that, mate.
Yeah, you could have just jumped, mate. Like, you didn't need to kill everyone. You didn't need to release a virus.
Yeah, and then the vaccine kind of just goes down on everyone. Everyone's safe.
Yeah.
Spike does see the nanobot butterfly things, because when you have the nanobots, you see the things, but yeah.
Yeah, there's this whole thing. So is it just a dream, Sandro? Maybe. Oh, that is interesting, because the whole theme is reality just a dream?
Yeah.
So the fact that this movie could just be a dream would make sense.
Be a dream that Spike had, yeah. Maybe, but I like to think that this is a part of all their arcs. I think that's
yeah, for sure. But that is an interesting theory. That's the same sort of layers thing. Is this dream, is this a real life theory about dreams that is just in itself a dream that he has? So Vincent never existed, and he was right.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's it. The movie ends with them all up on Eiffel Tower, and everyone's looking up at the rain. Everyone on the street is watching the rain as the credits go.
Oh yeah, there's some beautiful credit scenes. We see when Spike was running for the train, he just takes his headphones off and gives them to a random bystander.
Oh, yeah, and we see that bystander, yeah.
And we see that bystander in the credits. I thought it was very... Again, these like, the detail in this film is incredible. I love it so much. I love the... Because it's like, why does Spike just give his headphones to a random person for no reason? Why does it happen? Oh, it doesn't matter. Well, this character comes back. He's listening to music on the headphones. It's great.
It's good. And yeah, I guess the vaccine this time works because no one loses their memory. Everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And there's no repercussions to the pharmaceutical company.
Well, the movie ends before we see that. I'm sure the company got the justice it deserves.
Maybe.
Because we've never lived in a society where a corrupt corporation would do something heinously terrible that would cause millions of lives to be lost and then had no repercussions for it. That's never happened in real life.
I reckon Elektra maybe sues them or something.
Oh yeah, she gets big money.
Yeah.
She gets a payout.
And then she turns evil because she has so much money that
yeah,
now she's...
because as soon as you get hold of money, you become evil. You become an evil capitalist.
That's how things work. But there we go. That is the movie. Cowboy Bebop the movie. That is the whole thing.
Cowboy Bebop.
Look, it's great.
It's a great film.
It's really fun. Animation's incredible. Great story. Really told quite tastefully, and it makes you not feel like an idiot. It's not speaking down to you, which is really good. I'm giving it a goodie. I'm even thinking it's maybe better than a goodie.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely giving this a goodie. I don't know what award you could give it, though.
Is this a dream, or is this better than a goodie award?
That is a terrible award, but sure.
I mean, it's better than... What do we give Pulse? Not only is it not deceased, it's also bursting with palsy. That's the worst named award we have.
Yeah, but I think that's a certain person's fault. But anyway, well, last week I rated a 16-something oldie. I think this is like a 30-30 award in the future.
That's silly.
Yeah, well, every award we give is stupid and silly. So no, that's fair. I like your award. It's
No, yeah, I put a twist on it though. Is it a dream or is it?
a corgi.
That's it. Is it a dream or is it a Corgi award?
Nice.
Cowboy Bebop's the only film that'll ever get that.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's a solid better than a goodie to Cowboy Bebop the movie, also known as Knocking on Heaven's Door. Which name do you prefer?
Cowboy Bebop.
That's the name of the show, though, so
Yeah.
it'd be a bit complicated if the movie was called that.
Because it's called Cowboy Bebop. It's named after the ship.
Well, yeah, it's named after the ship, but it's also, fun fact, it's also named after a style of music. Every single episode of the show, every title of every episode of the show is named after a different style of music.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of a TV show called Firefly. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Oh, yeah, I heard they're going to bring that back for a second season at some point.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sure you heard that.
It's been in the works since, for 9 years now. Yeah, no,
Yep.
I reckon it'll happen at some point.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure that season 2's come out any day now.
Any day now.
It's a good time. Speaking of a good time,
Oh.
it's time for us to cross over this movie.
Oh, do we have to? Do we
Yeah.
have to cross this over with something? Oh, no.
Sorry, I misspoke. I mean, ruin this movie by infecting it with another movie.
All right.
Don't worry, Sandro, because this sequel/crossover will all just be a dream, so it won't be canon.
I like that, actually. All right, random number generator. Give me a number of an episode we've done. Crossover between the movie on that episode and Cowboy Bebop. Number 8.
Whoa!
Oh my god, that's early.
The 8th movie we've ever watched.
Oh, it's a boring one.
What is it?
It's 8 seconds.
What?
Do you remember for episode 8, we did a movie called 8 Seconds?
No, but that sounds like we were really clever with our names.
Yeah, but it turned to a really boring episode because it was about the rodeo guy.
Oh, rodeo. Yeah. Because you gotta stay on 8 seconds on the bull. Yeah, that fucking movie sucked. No, but this is brilliant, right?
Oh, you're right, it is brilliant.
Yes.
My synapses are firing just like yours, but I want to hear your thoughts. Let's go.
Yeah. Because one, this could be potentially Jet's dream because he watched so many cowboys. This could be Spike's. And it could be like an alternate reality.
Right.
Where Spike and Jet and the gang are actual cowboys.
Okay, they fly into a random Star Trek time travel cloud.
Yes.
That also could be a dream cloud. They might fall asleep and just their brains are going crazy.
Oh, absolutely. They all wake up in the ship at the end and it's like, wait, was that a dream or did we actually escape? Because what happens is they crash / go to sleep.
Yeah.
Crash as in go to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, that's a funny joke.
They wake up
Yes.
on a strange planet and their ship needs repairs.
Yes.
So Ed is focused on repairing the ship and doesn't appear for the rest of the movie. No, Ed's in there. Ed's in it. I'm JK.
Oh, I like Ed.
But they need to repair the ship, so they need to go out and get some supplies.
It's the movie True Grit, but the Haley Steinfeld character is played by Ed.
Yeah.
And the tiny girl is Ed.
Yeah. And so they go out into this town and they meet up with some people and they're like, what the fuck are you? Why are you all dressed weird?
Why you're all weird?
What the fuck is happening?
Turns out that they've gone back to the 1850s, maybe? Could be a fun
something
time.
like that.
Yeah.
Old Western place. Yeah, when they get to town, of course, there's a gang of, like, thieves and bandits that are accosting a establishment, and they just waltz in and beat the shit out of everyone, and they're like, oh, yeah, we need some supplies, can you help us? And and, like, the old shop clerk is like, oh, I would love to help you, Shunny, but, these bandits aren't the last of them, and they've taken control of the water supply, you know.
Oh, we're doing the water thing. Classic, yeah.
Well, not water, maybe, but, like, they've taken control of the trade routes.
So, I like the train routes.
Train routes, yes.
Train. Actually, on set on trains, I like that idea. We include trains a lot. They pick up a bounty for the guy that's in charge of that evil gang. not evil, but like the bad gang, and they slowly work their way through all these men.
They kind of figure out where they are for a bit. They have a crisis. It's like, how are we going to get back? And it's like, Ed's like, well, I've analyzed the time cloud thing that's floating above old-timey Earth. If we go back into it, we should be able to just go back the way we came.
But they need to buy fuel and a particular sort of resource.
Yeah, well, they need, like, gold or something to work for circuits and other stuff. Like, they need to repair circuits. But they need to, like, make them from scratch. So they need all these different stuff. And it's like, there's like an old-timey scientist or whatever that has all this stuff in a lab, which they eventually get to.
Doc Brown!
Yeah, well, not Doc Brown.
That's already been done in A Million Ways to Die in the West, a random Doc Brown cameo.
But the scientist has been captured by the bandit people and are using them to make bombs and other things to blow up the train and other stuff, you know.
That adds some fun action. So yeah, they've got to stop them and a lot of fights, and it's great.
Yeah, at one point they get captured and the bad guys get to steal their, like, future guns.
Oh, and then they go cause havoc with the future guns, and our main characters are de-armed, so they've got to rely on their wits.
Yeah, but also they get some basic pistols and revolvers and other things to make up for it. Yeah.
That's pretty good. And it's not really a crossover with 8 seconds, except in one scene they've got to do a rodeo to win someone's respect.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot this was a crossover.
but that's it. It's called Cowboy Bebop 8 Seconds to Live. That's more of a James Bond title.
8 Seconds in a Dream. Because the town they go in is called Dream Town.
Oh, the town's called Dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called Dream, and they're in the dream.
They're in a dream. They're sleeping. Oh, that's good. Well, that's it. Let's do some reviews then.
All right. It's time for raving reviews. It's the part of the show where I go to Rotten Tomatoes and don't listen to the critics because, as we discussed earlier, they gave this 66% for no reason other than they're wrong. Just wrong.
Yeah, pretty incorrect.
Unlike the audience who are correct.
Most of the time. You're going to read me a review. I got to guess what the rating is between 0.5 and 5, but there's a twist.
There's a twist. One of these reviews is made by me.
Yes.
I made it. So you have to also guess which one I made. All right. Riper says, not your parents' version, but a fun expansion of the story.
Not your parents' version of what?
The anime, supposedly.
Your parents' version of anime would have been like Astro Boy and Sailor Moon. No, of course this isn't your parents' anime.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're saying. They're agreeing, you know. There's also a lot of blood.
I guess it's quite gory. Not as gory as Chainsaw Man. I saw an ad for an anime called Chainsaw Man the other day, and my god, that looks pretty fun, actually.
Or Berserk. Oh my god, Berserk.
I'm going to say that that's probably a solid 4 out of 5.
Oh, you're right. Yes. That is a 4 out of 5.
1 point for me.
That's not your parents' 4 out of 5.
No, I'll tell you what. Back in my day, we used to have a 1, 2 out of 5 would get you as far as a 4 out of 5. Back in my day.
Back in your day, ratings didn't make any sense. Gus says, I liked the part where Mr. B bopped him.
Mr. B bopped him? Oh, because Spike, he hits people, which is kind of like...
Yeah.
I see. I'm going to say that one's probably a 4.5 because it's a silly review.
That is a silly review, and it is a 4.5.
Whoa.
There you go. Wow.
I'm 2 for 2.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2. You're killing it this week.
Damn.
All right, well, let's see if you relate to this person without a name. They had no username, but they said...
The man without a name.
It was legit. It's also no way to somewhere.
What? This was legit. It's also no way to somewhere.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Whoa.
This was legit. That's such a cryptic review. I'm going to say 5 out of 5, actually. I'm going to say 5 out of 5.
Am I sharing my screen right now by accident? Because it's 5 out of 5 again?
Oh my god! 3 for 3?
Are you Googling the reviews?
No, I'm not.
Like,
I'm not. I'm
happening?
just so in tune. I'm actually a big fan of anime. I actually love anime.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. You love anime so much that you just know off your head all the reviews for every anime ever. Well, maybe Scott who says, violent anime film. That, I suspect those unfamiliar with the television series will find hard to get into.
Oh, you're kind of gatekeeping the show, Cowboy Bebop, right there, reviewer.
Yeah, and also, I didn't watch the show, and I loved this movie. It didn't gatekeep me. So you're just wrong, Scott.
I'm like, this person might be a fan of the show.
Yeah, they're either a fan of a show or someone who wasn't a fan of the show who tried to watch it and is upset with it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get this one right, but I'm going to say it's a 3.
Ah, you are wrong.
Yeah.
You are wrong. It is actually a 2 out of 5.
I was like, you're going to sneak a -1 in here, but how negative? I was like 3 because it's 90%, so like most people gave it a positive rating anyway.
That is true.
But yeah.
Chris says, even better than the anime series, in my opinion.
Whoa.
But I'm not a huge fan of the anime in general. It's alright, though.
Not a huge fan of the original anime in general, but you think this is better. 3.5.
Ooh, close. It's 3 out of 5. This was the 3 out of 5. You kept thinking ahead to this one. It's not your fault. You just thought last review was this review.
Well.
And finally, Jake says, love it. Fuck the tomato meter. Those guys don't know shit.
Ooh, what a big old review. That's 5 out of 5, surely.
That's 5 out of 5. That's 5 out of 5. And I couldn't have said it better myself, Jake.
Well, I got 4 out of 6 points then, but I still got to guess which one your one is. And your one is the Mr. B bopped him. That's your review.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I made that a stupid review.
So technically I got 5 out of 6 points then, which is great.
Well, no, you got 5 out of 7.
No, shut up.
Don't flatter yourself.
5 out of 6 points. I make the rules. I'm the editor.
Whoa, damn it. You're just going to cut out the part where I say 5 out of 7. No. Once again, your evil capitalism has got the best of me.
Yes, and just like capitalism, this episode is coming to an end.
Oh my god. That was foreboding.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. This was a fun one. This was a really great episode. It turns out that we don't have to only review bad movies to get good content. We can do good movies too.
Yeah, this movie was this podcast is nearly as long as the movie itself.
It's a long episode, but I reckon it should have been. If you like the show though, and you want to keep in touch, hey, we're on Instagram, at oldiebuttygoodypod, same address for Facebook. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can email us, oldiebuttygoodypod@gmail.com. Do you like Cowboy Bebop? Have you seen the live-action one? I actually would like to get people's thoughts on the live-action show, because I don't know much about it, and I do really, really actually kind of want to watch it.
Well, I think I've got the Cowboy Bebop anime in my future. The live-action, I have little interest. I might see, maybe, but in general, live actions do not appeal to me as I see very little point. Besides capitalism and money.
That's true. But also...
If it was a spin-off live action, you know?
No, it's a direct adaptation of everything that happens in the show.
I know, but just make spin-offs. Just do something different with the universe.
That could have been better. But anyway, I'll probably watch it at some point. I heard some good things. I like the cast. We're also on Patreon. Patreon.com/oldiebuttygoodypod. There is a new episode of that out on Wednesday. What are we reviewing? I don't know yet, because we're meant to do The Price of Milk, a New Zealand comedy that won a poll, but I can't find it anywhere outside of some DVDs that are on sale for $100.
Whoa.
I don't know how we're going to do that.
Yeah, we might have to change that and do something else, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, because I really want to watch that, and I think you do as well, right? So
I love New Zealand comedies.
But patreon.com/oldiebuttygoodypod, there's a huge back catalogue on there as well, plus access to our ad-free feed of this very podcast. Speaking of ads, we get them from That's Not Canon Productions, our network.
Whoa.
Thank you, That's Not Canon Productions.
Yeah, you're funding our capitalist empire. Thank you for that.
And also shout out to Josh Cake for our theme song, who also made the theme song for the show Ants. Episode 1 out now.
What?
If you are like, is the new Game of Thrones prequel worth watching? Give that a listen.
I will, because I have not seen Game of Thrones.
Do not watch it without watching Game of Thrones. I've been telling everyone this. The show does not work if you don't know what happens in Game of Thrones.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
The first episode of Game of Thrones, right? It's the first episode of a show. It introduces you to everything.
Yeah.
It's got a big, massive opening sequence, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a grand start of a show.
You toss a child out a window, it's a good time.
This first episode of House of the Dragon, it's like, all right, it's time for another season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's good because you got Matt Smith being real evil, but it's like,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Matt Smith.
he's great.
People say he's pretty good.
He says the cunt word.
Ooh!
And I'm like, Matt Smith, you've never been more threatening saying the cunt word before.
Hell yeah. We love a good cunt down here in Australia.
This episode's not been explicit until now, and now I've got to give it the tag.
Well, I did say fucking shit earlier.
That's not explicit.
That's true.
What makes a podcast explicit is talking about fucking and cunts.
Well, speaking of fucking cunts, we got some movies we got to choose for next week.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's do some fucking movies.
All right. So, you've got a few movies to choose from.
Okay.
We've got The Glass House.
Ooh, sounds dangerous.
Yeah, if you throw a stone in there, it might be a bad idea. A psychological mystery about two orphans who move in with a couple that seem to be hiding some dark secrets.
Oh, okay.
You got Hardball to pay off his loan. Keanu Reeves must coach a Little League baseball team.
We've done a couple, we've done one Little League movie before and it wasn't great, but...
No.
Interesting. Little League. Keanu Reeves sports movie?
Yeah. Well, maybe this will make your mind up because The Poof Point...
What?
Is a Disney Channel movie.
Oh, no.
Yay, another one about two scientists who create a time machine that accidentally makes them younger.
Oh, and then you got kids playing older scientists.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to do Disney Channel again. I do want to do one more Disney Channel movie this year, but I'm not ready to do that yet.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've done so many Disney Channel movies. I think that's an immediate cut.
I want to do one more.
Okay.
I feel like the last one was so racist that we were like, let's not do Disney Channel again.
Yeah.
But I feel like I should give it one more shot. But not this movie.
So you've got The Glass House, a psychological mystery,
I don't really want to do that.
or Hardball.
Keanu Reeves. Oh my god. We had such a good movie and now these options are not good.
No, none of these options are great. But you haven't got the excuse that there's, no options, because there is options.
Keanu Reeves is good enough.
That is true.
It would be funny. Keanu Reeves acting alongside children could be funny as well. So you know what? Let's do Hardball, I guess.
Oh, okay. You chose Hardball. I'm surprised that you chose that one.
Yeah, well, we've done a few sports movies this year. We've done 2 basketballs, so let's do something that's not basketball. Let's do baseball, which I think is one of the better sports to watch. I actually really enjoy watching baseball. It's fun to watch. So let's do that next week on the podcast, and we'll wrap it up with the best quote from Cowboy Bebop, the movie. Let me open my notes. What quotes do I have?
Well, my one is obviously the best line. Could it be that I'm just dumb and horny? Because that's the existential dread that I'm looking for. The dumb and horny ones.
My sort of existential dread is more akin to the hacker.
Yeah.
I just needed 500 more points, man. Then I would have been able to see Sporky Dorky. Do you know how long I've been trying to reach Sporky Dorky?
Oh my god. I just realized, Sandro, the main twist villain in our spin-off is Sporky Dorky.
Sporky Dorky!
Oh my god, he was behind the time rift the entire time.
That's right, and he's played by me, James Station. I play Sporky Dorky in it.
Not James Station, I thought he was gone forever.
I'm still a fuckwit.